there careers in this? The answer is yes. There's an awful lot of them. There's a lot of careers in content writing and marketing. That aspect of it, if this attracts you, check this out. Even if it doesn't, you may want to pay attention to this because this can also be a good side hustle in the process. I walked into a doctor's office and it was never there before. And typically what happens is you fill out this information sheet. Well, I'm filling out this information sheet and there's a typographical error on the first page. Okay. On the second page, there's two more. So that total is 3 typos in there. Do you think I want some doctor poking at me and cutting me up and can't know how to spell? Seriously, that is nuts. He needed a good content writer. Maybe that's you. Those typos scare people, especially if you're trusting this person. They convey themselves, I'm a trusty doctor. I've gone to school for 75 years, and I'm going to sit there and take care of you. And by the way, I can't spell or I can't talk a thing because I forgot how to go to school and get grammar. You can't do that kind of thing. Seriously, that person should be a trusted professional, and all of a sudden, boom, that sloppiness center turned me off. And by the way, I stopped going to him after the second visit. I thought, okay, this guy can't get this right. I'm not coming back. So I went to somebody else, and she was much better than that, and she didn't have any typos in her form. So that means that. So to highlight the content writers, the aspect of conveying messages and engaging them. And content writers creates content. They're really looking to attract hooks in and draw people in. So the hook is a key thing we've talked about in this class. It's a big part of our writing, making certain that it's really there. It's different kinds of things, blog posts, articles, white papers, case study. There's a lot of need out there for good quality things. And by the way, ChatGPT is sitting out over there, and you got artificial intelligence going to weasel itself into our entire world aspect of it. And there's a lot of good things with it, but I have to tell you, you have to go into it and make certain it reads well instead of like a robot doing it because, oh, by the way, that's what it is. So that human element is a big thing, especially about corporate storytelling, because you want to have not just information, you want to have that whole emotional context there as well to draw people in to sell better. And by the way, about 30% more if you have a good story. So that being said, have good communication. If you want to talk about this aspect of it, mostly in business anyway, you have to have strong writing and grammar skills. It depends what you're doing, but if you're involved in being the CEO of a company, if you're involved in a large corporation, you have to have strong writing and grammar skills. That is part of the turf. If you struggle with that, you better get used to it. It's a big part of life in corporate America. Have good research, be able to adapt to different tones, be able to have indirect and direct conversations in the process, and writing and verbally and on your cell phone and on email. Make certain you have SEO knowledge in the process, knowing how you can get things done faster and more efficiency, and make certain you're communicating and that the audience understands the whole process over here. Your search engine optimization, have some basic knowledge on it. So when you have somebody come by and tweak your computer and everything else, make certain you understand how the search engine can sit down and find your things even better. On this aspect of it, this is actually an ad somebody sent this to me. They wanted me to do some content writing. And to be honest about it, I really thought about it for a long time. They showed this gal on the beach sitting there typing her things. That looked kind of like a nice gig over here. And she gets paid an awful lot of money to do solid content writing. And it's not rocket science stuff. It's good, solid writing that brings people in, has a lot of adjectives in the process over here, a lot of good adverbs. It really has good communication. She connects well in the process over there. And there's always a demand for this out there. And you look at the different opportunities for growth. Market writing is a specific purpose writing that advertises a brand. So it's related to content writing, but market writing is a little bit different because you're really trying to troll for people to have good potential customers. Sometimes content writing, you get to write actual articles about things that they use to supplement things in different types of magazines and other brands in the process. So some types of market writings are aimed at enticing people to buy, while others are meant to raise brand awareness. The brand awareness is kind of fun because it's much more fun, enjoyable way to write because you're talking about how it helps people. So marketing writers, they contribute to promotional aspects of it. Here's different types of writing: ad copy, social media content. There's a huge amount of things out there with that, and it's expanding. In 2019, we actually, it was the first year that social content, actually an online digital content, passed printed content, and we've been sprinting nonstop in this whole realm ever since. So email marketing is big, although really, I don't know about you, I get rid of an awful lot of email in the process without even looking at it. Product descriptions, that's a big thing. Like, you can make serious money telling people how to assemble something and actually improve overall things. I don't know about you. I've sat there with this little Allen wrench and a screwdriver trying to assemble different things. I wish somebody would do a better job at content writing for product descriptions and also how to put things together. Landing pages are really big. Some of the skills, creativity and storytelling. You remember we talked about the whole thing about how good emotional connections will fire the whole brain. That is one of the elements of market writing, trying to sell things. Understand consumer psychology. What is appealing to them? Sometimes it's about colors. Sometimes it's about really fabulous wording and different aspects. What turns people on an emotional context. Craft catchy headlines. I love it every once in a while. You might have noticed that I like puns, and some of them are really bad puns. When somebody pulls that up, I am drawn to them and everything else, and I'll send a little note to them saying, nice puns, I loved it. Okay, call to action implementation. Digital marketing has caused this sector to explode into more writing careers. The only problem is AI is coming up, and I was preaching that AI will never sit down there and take over the arts. And AI is on its way to try to take over the arts too, including the art of writing. So you have competition over here. But if you can sit there and ride the wave of AI and improving AI as it goes out there, you too can be a master of this whole digital landscape. Part of the whole aspect, when you get a job, you want to have a portfolio of multiple different kinds of writing, diverse writing samples to address different needs, and have it all over there. Somebody sits down there, hey, can you write this? I've done something like this. What do you think of this? And sit down and have it to them. If you're pulling out 4 or 5 different things you've already written that relate to their product, all of a sudden now you got a job and you're making some serious money. Include personal projects, put all that stuff into your portfolio, start developing your portfolio, highlight the role of it to impress potential employers in the process. If you want to get a good, solid educational path, my recommendation is major in business, marketing, journalism, a couple degrees out there. I'm concerned about the marketability of it. You need to sit down and have multiple skill sets ready for you when you walk into that job market. That's why I'm a business teacher. I want you to be successful when you leave this class. I want you to take the skills here and use them to make serious money so you have a fabulous life. Online courses and content writing are out there. Some of them are pretty good. Workshops, seminars, all that is really good. The more you develop yourself, the better off you are. There's a lot of platforms like LinkedIn. You have that, X, you have Instagram. They're all sitting out there. Join writing groups. I'm part of 2 different writing groups. I haven't contributed in some time, but that being said, so part of them, I read a lot of things that come through that process over here. I went out on the LinkedIn, LI stands for LinkedIn, and I just literally, in preparation for this class section over here, I typed in content writer, and there's right now on a regular basis, there's 1,097 jobs. A copywriter, there's 1,125 jobs. Marketing writer, there's 1,061 jobs. Content strategist, there's 863 of them. They're right now sitting out there looking for people. And by the way, content writing out there, copywriter, marketing writer, content strategist, a lot of times it is stay-at-home work, stay at the beach work, crank. It really has an opportunity to sit down and give you an opportunity to sit down and get a really cool job in the process. Some key advice about it: keep learning and adapting what's going out there. Watch AI. ChatGPT is a major competitor, but if you know how to use it, you can sit down there and improve that and use that. Says, I can improve ChatGPT. And by the way, it's not that hard to do. It's really nice, but it's like a robot talking. Stay updated with industry trends and know what's going on. Seek feedback and learn from rejections. I'm a poet. And frankly, just so you know, when I first got into poetry, I was sending my stuff out to different publishers. I could wallpaper an entire room with all my rejection letters until finally I got some traction, knowing what the market was looking for. Then all of a sudden, I would send out 5 poems. They'd accept 3 poems. That became commonplace, but it was after a year of being rejected in the process. That rejection is part of the writing process. So content writing, make certain you're out there and that content writing can produce results. Your social media content that's growing, AI is growing as well. Can you be more creative than the machine though? right now, I bet you probably can. So that being said, really, this is a really fun area to get into. And for certain, if this really interests you, the least you can do is the side hustle on this thing, and then maybe leverage that into a long-term career that's very successful. And by the way, it is very rewarding. Content writing, marketing, really a good way to go. Take care.